My brother was happening. I took a break, now I'm back again, cracking jokes in the back of my Africans. I keep running, I don't know what's happening. If he cap it, then I promise we capping. You ain't ballin', you niggas be practicing. Over 20 on both, ain't no accident. Get that money from streams, I'm stacking it. Go hit the stool, then I put it right back in it. Yup.
So today we are interviewing 2015 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award nominee and former Green Bay Packers linebacker, Sam Barrington. How you doing today, Sam?
I'm doing great, man. As I was saying earlier, long day, finishing up, headed home right now, and got a few more things to do before my day is completely over. But it's definitely a pleasure to be on with you guys tonight.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of funny because we were talking about doing this last week, Thursday, and then by the time I realized, I was like, oh, crap, the draft is Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I think that would have been great timing if you guys had decided to do it on that day. But you're right. I mean, there was so much going on with the draft, and you look at that first day, and how about the power of social media, right? The largest event in sports is going on that day, one of the largest events in sports. And then there's so many side jokes and conversation going on social media about the different things that were happening during the draft. So I thought that was cool. I watched a bit of it. I didn't see who the Packers got to pick that. Sometimes they use that draft pick and they might bring a guy in and develop him, and maybe he gets an opportunity to play a few games, performs pretty well, and now they can leverage him in a trade. And that's what's really important. You saw what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's now in San Francisco. He created value for himself after stepping in for Tom Brady, and now he's competing to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
We were talking about the draft, so let's take it back to 2013 when you were drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Walk us through that special moment. What did it feel like? How did it set in for you?
You know what? It was a pretty interesting experience for me, from top to bottom. You take a look at my senior class, and there was 3 of us that was drafted, probably 3 or 4 other guys that actually had the ability or talent to be drafted, but just wasn't drafted. But it started with a underperformance by our team my senior year. I think we went 3-9, but we lost maybe 6 or 7 games by a 3-point margin, right? So we just play away from winning those games, and we lost our coach. So anybody who knows and understands football, they know that if you're playing on the losing team, it's going to hurt your draft stock. That's just the reality of it. So coming out, I just wanted an opportunity, and it was pretty exciting when I got invited to the combine. I played at the East-West Shrine game, and then I got invited to the combine, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really an opportunity for me to go put my ability on showcase. I get to the combine, and literally crazy situation, had an allergic reaction. My kidney was swollen, so I performed horrible. I mean, my vertical jump was horrible. Broad jump was horrible. 40 time was horrible, and I weighed in at 248 pounds. My team, we knew this wasn't who I was, so we literally went back to the drawing board, and I actually had an acupuncture procedure in my abdomen, and it released some fluids from my kidney. And I literally I weighed in at 236 pounds. So that's a 12-pound deficit 6 days later for my pro day. I think I jumped to 9.6 at the combine. I jumped to 10.4 at my pro day. In the broad jump, I think my vertical jump was maybe a 31 at the combine. I jumped to 37.5 at my pro day. Numbers that I was used to seeing. And the biggest jump was I ran a 4.91 at the combine, and then at my pro day I ran a 4.67. So Alonzo Highsmith, who was a draft with the Green Bay Packers at the time, he was actually there. He and I had multiple conversations, but I didn't know that the Packers were going to draft me. I had been having conversations with the Atlanta Falcons, the Dallas Cowboys. I really wanted to go to Dallas. And Dallas actually called me in the 5th round and told me they were going to draft me. And then they didn't. And they wound up picking another guy. They asked for me in free agency. But later in that 7th round, the Green Bay Packers drafted me. It was Ted Thompson who called me, and so just a tremendous opportunity. I had always known who the Packers were, but I didn't really realize how storied of a franchise it was until I got to town and had the opportunity to grow over the course of 4 years in that community, building relationships in the city. And it was just a phenomenal opportunity. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Well, we're really glad we had you here in Green Bay for the time that you spent with us as a player and as a person. I know personally that you do a lot of community involvement work. You've gotten awards in Green Bay. You've gotten nominated at the Walter Peyton Man of the Year Award, and you even got a presidential award. Tell us about why do you give back so much and what really pushes you to do the best?
Well, I think it's just recognizing primarily that you aren't going to get to where you're going in life without the help of others. So I had a ton of people reach back and help me as a kid, even through the time that I was an adult, and still now. People are pouring into my life in so many different ways. So I just want to make sure that I did what I needed to do to foster growth in other people's lives, and it starts with our youth because they are our future. So there were some opportunities that presented themselves while I was in Green Bay and also here in the state of Florida. And I just had a great team. I had an awesome agent, and she helped me headline a lot of these things. And I had a marketing team that was also phenomenal that I still do business with to this day. So it's just always been a part of me. It was just, everything just started coming to fruition. And then in 2016, when I went down with that, it was actually 2015. Game 1, I think it was like play 7. I went down with that industry. I sat home for maybe 5, 6, 7 days and thought like, okay, what am I going to do to take advantage of all this free time? And so one thing led to another, and then I'm just totally active in the community, and it was just a blessing, tremendous experience, and I'm looking forward to kind of perpetuate that now having moved on from football.
Right. Because, I saw the video where Pretty Boy Fredo actually came out to your house with some kids from downtown Orlando, and you guys just hung out, played video games, got some pizza. How did that all come about?
Yeah, so actually Pretty Boy Fredo reached out to me, and I think it's crazy because, I didn't know who he was at the time, right? I just knew it was a kid who reached out, and, sometimes if people reach out to me, even like yourself, if I have the bandwidth with what he was trying to accomplish, I thought we invited those guys over, which is awesome. I'm still in touch with Jabari today, the little kid who we had over, and I'm sure that was a life-changing experience for those guys. Shared a lot of advice with them on, just how to deal with life as a young man, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Now to see Pretty Boy Fredo growing into the phenom that he is, I think that's also awesome seeing where he came from.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has become a big occurrence. I also remember watching videos of you going to schools, telling these kids, respect your teachers. They put up way too much with you guys and all that. I think it's really great what you do for the community itself. And also, I see you go over to Ghana a lot. You travel over there. I see you do some community work over there, correct?
Yeah, so my family is involved in a ton of philanthropy over in Ghana. Actually, even from a trade standpoint, we develop a lot of trade workers in Ghana to go out and find careers in the construction industry. But in addition to that, we've spent time giving food back to shelters, building homes, residential properties for underprivileged communities. So there's a ton, but first and foremost, it's my family. My father's side of my family is actually from Ghana, so that's what's prompted my visits to Ghana over the past 10 years.
That's really cool, yeah, because I was looking at your Instagram and I saw that you're traveling all around the world, just doing as much as you can to give back to the community, which is really cool. Now, bringing it back to the football standpoint, because you're an Orlando boy, you're used to 80 degrees, sunny weather. What was that transition like into going into the cold, frozen tundra with snowy 30 degrees?
You know what? I'll say this. I know a lot of people talk about the frozen tundra, but there's nothing worse than practicing and doing two-a-days in the heat of the summer in Florida. I don't care where you go. it's just nothing worse than that. And I think that's what kind of toughened me up. You see a lot of guys come out of Florida who are just tough football players. You see the same trend in Texas, Louisiana, California, right? These places where the heat is just disrespectful. So you look at some pictures while I was up in Green Bay. I was the guy running out of the tunnel in 20, 30-degree weather with my shirt up, right? And that's just a Florida boy thing. You saw it with Ray Lewis, John Beeson. You see a few other guys who are from Florida, they do that. But it wasn't bad, man. It was just an awesome experience. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to play in the NFL, but to actually, be there on the biggest stage, getting it done, and your name showing up on the Jumbotron because you just made a big play, there's nothing like it.
Right. So you're saying, because you're a Florida boy, you can't. I know I saw the pictures of you with the cutoffs. You didn't care about the temperature. What about your other Florida boy, Clinton Dix? Because he was always wearing the high ankle socks, the long sleeve.
Yeah.
He wasn't with it.
Well, I think, everybody has their own preference, I think that's also part of Ha's swag, to be honest with you, wearing the sleeves and the high socks. Maybe he got the high socks for me and was paying homage to me after I actually left Green Bay. But I also think it has a lot to do with body weight as well. I'm during my playing days, I was a much thicker guy than Ha. So, maybe I wasn't inclined to get as cold as he was. But yeah, I know he likes to wear his sleeves and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So one more question about your NFL days, and we'll transition over to some personal things. The NFC Championship game in Seattle. Walk us through that. I know every Packer fan hates that. I hate it too. But walk us through that entire day and just that event leading up to it. What was it like to be in Championship Sunday?
Right. So to be honest with you, this is one of the first times I'm saying this publicly, but I actually had food poisoning during that game, right? I didn't disclose it with anyone. I didn't disclose it with the coach. I think Ha knew, and maybe one more teammate knew. But leading up to it, it felt surreal, right? Knowing that you're playing in the game and it's the opportunity to advance to the Super Bowl. And it felt normal as a Packer. I mean, you're playing with Aaron Rodgers, Clay Matthews. We just had a star-studded team. So we were easily the best team in the NFL that year. We knew what we were capable of. And it was like when we would play teams, we knew we were going to win. That's just what it was. And then with myself and Clay at linebacker, you had Nick Perry, Mike Neal, and Pep at outside line. I mean, the team was just stout. And so we go into the game, and what was crazy about it is everybody was looking at us like, hey, these guys whooped you guys in week one. You sit here and talk about it here. We'll show up on game day, and it showed up pretty early. I think we picked Russell Wilson 5 times and maybe sacked him 7 times. And so it was just a total domination on defense. But I think Coach McCarthy, he got a lot of ridicule for it. But I think it was a great game on his part. They were a stout team, best defense in the NFL. There were some times where we kicked field goals. I think most people were saying we should have went for it. But again, number one defense in the NFL at the time, Seattle Seahawks. So we get down to that play where the onside kick with Brandon Bostic, and that was probably one of the most demoralizing plays that I've ever been a part of in a game of football. But you didn't realize it until the game was over, right? Because we're thinking like, you know what, that happened, but we still got a chance to win this. And then Tramon Williams, who's an awesome cornerback. I mean, there's no secret what he's done during his time in the NFL. And he goes out and he gets beat on man coverage. And we lose the game that quick. So, but it was just a great experience. I've also I have Cho to my way to the tunnel and told me that I played a heck of a game. So, you fast forward 2 years later when I'm looking at retiring, a moment like that pretty much put a staple on my career. And I didn't need to go back and win the Super Bowl or go to the Pro Bowl or, be the number one linebacker in the NFL, because that was just an awesome experience for a guy who was only hoping for an opportunity coming out of college.
Right. Well, yeah, you can't dwell on the past. It happens. We all forgot about it. But that's funny that you said that you had food poisoning, because I'm pretty sure Randall Cobb had like a problem with his side that day too. It seems like a lot of problems were going on with our players at that time.
Yeah. But we pushed through it, man. That was a pretty close knit team, and it was fun to play with those guys. And you see that entire starting defense is depleted. Casey Hayward, who was probably top cornerback in one of the top cornerbacks in the league at the time, and he went on to the Chargers. Has done great things.
Oh yeah.
Tramon Williams, Micah Hyde, Buffalo doing great things. Morgan, Nick Perry, Mike Daniels, just so many guys have moved on. Even with Clay, who's now looking at towards the end of his career. It was just an amazing team to be a part of.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad you were a part of that team, because it was something special to watch. Now, turning over to the personal things, I saw another video of you deep sea fishing, catching sharks, Goliaths. Have you gone on any other fishing trips since then? Because I know you were talking about it.
So to be honest with you, man, I haven't spent much time doing leisure stuff. Even when you see me traveling, it's relative to business. Never to leisure, rarely for leisure. Yeah, I just hadn't had the opportunity to get back out, but we're planning some special things for 2021. And yeah, it was just an awesome opportunity to connect with Josh. And I didn't realize how much I appreciated deep sea fishing. I remember I got back and I showed the guys, and guys thought that it was that it was fake. They didn't think that the fish was actually real. They thought it was a clip art or something like that. But no, it was real, and it was an amazing experience.
I don't know how they could think it's fake when you're sitting there pulling in for minutes after minutes, reels bending, you're sitting there at the end of the boat's tipping over almost.
Yeah. It was definitely funny, man. Definitely.
So I got two more questions I want to talk about with you, and then we'll wrap this up. So
okay.
I see on your social media you do a lot of work at USF, your former college, your alma mater. What inspires you to go back there and help out younger players within the program?
So to be honest with you, I'm actually a color analyst at the University of South Florida. This is my class. We have a call scheduled at 9, so I'm gonna be a little late, but I'm actually a color analyst for the University of South Florida. And that's how I got that opportunity. So I actually travel with the team. I have to do all the broadcasts and whatnot. So, all right, we're back. We round two. I got a little more energy now than I did last night, and so let's run it, man. I'm sorry. I had a class last night, and we're closing out the semester, 2 final projects, and so I had to have a conference call, and it was longer than I expected. So sorry about that.
Nah, you're good. We got 2 weeks left of schooling ourselves right now, so we're almost done in there. But did you have a 14-hour workday today again, or it was a little bit shorter?
Nah, so right with my industry, when it starts raining and storming like it really does in Florida, like we have to shut all of our jobs down because the wind and the rain and the weather conditions can be a detriment to the machinery. So we shut all of our jobs down, sent all of our guys home early, and they always love that because they still get paid. And then I actually just got some office work done, and so today was a good day. I just came out to check on one of my machines, and I'm headed back home to have some dinner and do it all again tomorrow.
Oh yeah, always a grind out here. So you said your industry. What I know you work at Sky Limit. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So Sky Limit is actually my company.
Oh, you own it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a family-owned. It's a Sky Limit is a family-owned brand, and my father started Sky Limit in the late '90s over in Ghana. So sometimes when you see me over in Ghana, I'm also there, mildly working, right? Half relaxing, half working. But yeah, so family-owned and operated. My father runs all of our locations over in West Africa, and then I run all of our operations here in the U.S. So, yeah, and I literally left football in August of 2017, and I was in office with Sky Lemon in September, November. It was November of 2017. So I made the transition pretty quickly, and it's been awesome since day one.
How many locations do you guys have?
So we have 4. We actually have 4 locations.
Okay, where are those locations?
So Ghana is actually in West Africa, 2 in Ghana and 1 in Ivory Coast. And then our 4th location is here in Orlando, Florida. And we're rapidly expanding, and we're putting other offices in other places. And so it's just great, man. And anytime you can do something with your family, and it's awesome. I get to talk to my dad, even when he's in Africa, I'm talking to him pretty much every day. My uncle is our operations manager, so he's our field manager, so I'm speaking with him every day. And soon I'll have brothers that are working with us as well. Most of my young brothers are in school, and 2 of them are doing something else, but soon they'll be transitioning to the family business.
Yeah, that's really cool that you have a family-owned business that you guys have had in the family for a while and just passed down now generation to generation. As we were going back to last night when you had your online class starting off, I was talking about the question, what makes you go back to USF and help out again? I know you said you're a colorist, correct? Is that what you do there?
No pun intended, right? So I'm a color analyst, right, or color commentator. And what that means is I commentate every football game for USF. So I travel with the team to away games, and I sit alongside Jim Loud, who's our play-by-play guy, and he's been the play-by-play guy for every game in the history of USF football.
Wow.
So I'm the 3rd person to grace USF football, the radio with my voice, right? Mark Robinson literally retired. Would you be interested? Because Mark Robinson is retiring, right? So I said, you know what? I got other stuff going on right now, but I prayed on it, and I interviewed for it probably 3 weeks later, and then it's been awesome ever since. So and I know I keep throwing different titles at you, but I'm also the president of the football alumni group. So and the way that came to fruition is I just spent so much time around the program because of my commentary position that I just naturally fell into that role, because there's a true need for alumni, getting re-engaged back in USF from a present standpoint. And we've just hired a new coach in Jeff Scott, who's the co-offensive coordinator out of Clemson. So it's been awesome. It's just I can't explain how cool it is to be around your alma mater. I wasn't really excited to get back into football, but it's been a blessing. It really has.
So you said you were going for your master's degree. Now, what was your title for your master's degree?
So I'm getting my master's. I'm getting my master's in executive business management, right? So it's an MBA, but it's the executive MBA. It's called the MBA, and so I'm actually the 2nd youngest person in my program because mostly everyone has had 5 years or less of management experience. So, these are individuals who are trying to get in C-suite roles and who are already VPs of certain entities. So, very talented group that I'm in class with, and it's a special opportunity because, just 2.5 years ago, I didn't know how to do any of the things that I know how to do now. I had never used Excel in my life, and now, I'm using Excel, and that's pretty. And it's fun when you learn how to use it, but I had never used it before in my life, not once.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to use Excel until like 3 weeks ago. Not even gonna lie, one of my classes forced me to do it. So I understand that struggle with you. It was kind of weird. But so yeah, you do a lot of community involvement. You still stay with your alum. You're a owner of a company. I mean, what can't you do, Sam? You're all over the place with all your time. You're just so busy. How do you manage it all?
You know what? While I was in the NFL, I did a lot, man. I did a lot. I played some great football. I made found a lot of great friends. traveled all over the country, and I even traveled over the world. And I did what I wanted to do all my life, right? But when I was in high school, I would tell my friends sometimes, I jokingly say, I'm not a football player. I'm just a businessman who actually was just very athletic, and I truly believe that now. I think football has had a special role in my life and taught me a lot of great qualities. And all I'm doing now in my life is just taking the qualities that I learned in football and rolling them out, whether it's in business, whether it's being a leader, whether it's just maintaining a brotherhood with not only my own brothers, right, but some employees and some business partners. So, it's just about, life is about concepts. And whenever I tell young players, I said, don't try to memorize plays, understand concepts. So when you understand the concept of character, or you understand the concept of hard work and trust, you can roll those concepts out anywhere in life. And I think that's one of the things that I would really want somebody to truly understand as they're growing from being an athlete who is transitioning from an athlete.
Yeah, that's a really cool standpoint on it. I never really thought about taking those different types of thoughts and applying that to real life situations. So
let me elaborate a little further, right? Let's say for me, right, 2000 was played the same way, but it was called something else. Okay, when I went to New Orleans that same year, we played cover 2, but we didn't call it the same thing we called it in Kansas City. So with that being said, you just have to understand cover 2. So wherever you go, you know how to play cover 2, right? So it's the same thing about hard work. If you can work hard on the football field, you can work hard as a firefighter, as an accountant, right? Anything you do, you should be able to work hard. That's learned skill. If you know how to use it properly, create leverage and value for yourself.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. So I got one more question for you tonight, Sam. I know you're on the way home, so I want to wrap this up for you. What's in the future? What does the future hold for Sam Barrington?
You know what? My whole life, I've never really made goals. A year from now, what's this month? April? I didn't know I was going back to get my master's in September. I didn't plan for it. I just woke up one day and asked myself, what could I do to better myself? And I found myself enrolling in school 2 months later, right? And so I guess my answer to that question is I don't know. And the reason why is because the things I want to do, like, I don't even know how it looks yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, can I say, like, yeah, I want to own a whole city. Yeah, like, I think like that. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I really think like that, and so who knows, man? Who knows? I just know that I want to continue to be a blessing to people, because while I am involved in a ton of different things, the beautiful thing about it is God has given me different platforms to be a blessing to other people. And that's what that's all about. It's not about me and my talent, because I'm driving home right now. I could get in a car accident and not even be able to speak again, or not even be able to walk again. You get what I'm saying? So it's about how you feel about giving back to other people and being a blessing to other people is what really matters.
Right. Yeah, life is very short. Anything can happen any second, so never take anything for granted and just work as hard as you can, and you'll eventually get there if you put in the time for it.
Yeah, and I truly believe that, big dog. I really do.
Well, all right, Sam. Hey, thank you very much, my man. Hopefully, I think I'm coming down to Orlando this summer to visit my family. Possibly we could do a live interview if I pull up in Orlando.
Let's do it. I'll show you my cranes, and we can do it. Just let me know ahead of time, okay?
Sounds good, man. All right, Sam. Well, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, I'll let you know when I drop the video so we can get this some buzz. All right.
All right, perfect. Appreciate it.
Yep. Drive safe. All right, Sam.
All right, you too, bro. I'll talk to you. Don't drive safe now, but whenever.
In the future as well, always.
In the future, right? All right, bro. Talk to you later.
Yep. Take care, man. All right, that was our part 2 with former Packers linebacker Sam Barrington. Thank you so much for him taking this time out of his day to come on and talk to me twice, not once, twice. It was really cool. Shout out Sky Limit, his own company in Orlando, Florida, if you ever need a crane rental. You know where to go. Sky Limit. Also, thanks for watching our first ever interview, guys. Your host, Wyatt Gleiser. We're out.